If you are a recovering overachiever or just generally high achiever, my guess is you have been getting the definitions of success, perfection, and consistency very confused. And this video is going to help you stay consistent while avoiding perfectionism. So if you know that you are a recovering perfectionist, recovering overachiever, and you frequently get stuck in the all or nothing mindset, you frequently get stuck beating yourself up, or if you miss a day of something, you feel that spirals, like whether that is with a business, whether that is with your fitness routine, whether that is with social media, whether that is with cleaning and tidying, like any kind of new habit. Also, do you guys like, I painted my nails. Do you like the color? I feel like it's so summery. Whether that's any new habit, this is a common thing that you're gonna get stuck in. And how do I know this? Because I have been there. I am a recovering perfectionist, recovering overachiever myself. And now I have been a full-time entrepreneur for 4 years. And in starting a business, perfectionism kills progress. Perfectionism is the one thing you want to avoid. And that is so hard because what does the modern school system teach us? Perfectionism. What does it reward? Perfectionism. What does it tell us to aim for? Perfectionism, right? That is why they score tests out of 100. And anything less is seen as, you missed the mark. But when we get into the real world, the opposite is true. Perfectionism, we cannot. There's a huge difference between excellence and perfectionism, right? Now, let's write it out because I love my binder. The difference between perfect excellence and consistent. Do you see that? Now, perfect. This one's easy to answer. If we had to score out of 100 what perfect is, we know the answer. 100%. Now, excellence. And say you're applying this idea of grades in school because, most of us have kind of a set point. Think of as a kid, you had a set point of what was good enough, right? For me, I'll be quite honest with you, it was 90. Anything above a 90, I was like, that's good enough. Anything under, I deemed not good enough. And I'm not saying that's the truth. That's an absolute truth. That was my truth as a student. Was this a healthy mindset? No, not at all. Because I was constantly aiming for 100 and anything less than 90 was not good enough. And I destroyed my health. I sacrificed so many friendships, so many fun experiences, and having a life in order to have higher grades. And at a time, that served me. And then at a time, I realized this will no longer serve me. And if I continue to live like this, I will sacrifice my health and my life for a number. And the difference is in school and in the corporate world, which was the path I was on, the number changes from a grade to a salary. The number changes from a grade to a salary. So that for me, in my past with the messed up money mindset, that's where it was. And I knew I was like, if I keep going down this road, I will continue, trading my health and my life for incremental increases. But at a certain point, when it comes to money, an incremental increase in more money in your life does not make an incremental increase in your happiness and your well-being. And so this is what we've talked about repeatedly. We are no longer optimizing for perfection. We are optimizing for overall well-being. It's a balancing act, okay? So perfect is 100%. Excellence, what's that number? Is that 80%, 85, 90? Is that 70%? What's that number that you would define as, if I got this, that is excellent? What would that number be? Let's say excellence is 90%. I think that's fair, right? And you can pick different numbers for yourself. But if somebody else is doing something with 90% proficiency, that's excellent, in my opinion. Maybe not perfect, but it's excellent. See where we're going with this. What about consistent? What would consistent look like? If you showed up for something, say 70% of the time, because 50% is not consistent. 50% is flaky. 50% means half the time you do and half the time you don't. Same with 60, I feel like still, 60 is pretty close to 50. But 70% is the majority, or maybe 75. I would even argue to say 80 is maybe too high. Like at 70%, that's pretty consistent, maybe 75. So let's put 70%. Now, can you agree on these numbers objectively when you look at this? If someone's doing something 70% of the time, that means they're pretty consistent. If someone's doing something 90% of the time, that is excellent. And if someone's doing 100% of the time, that means it's perfect. Except for the thing that we know is perfect is not real. Perfect is an unattainable standard. That is unrealistic. I gotta retitle this. Redefine success. Okay, this is redefining success. So perfect, this is an unattainable standard, but excellence, now excellence we can aim for. Now let's apply this. I'm gonna apply this to two different examples, one with business and one with fitness. That's easiest for me, okay? So, and I've been stuck in all of these traps, okay? Believe me, I get this from 100% personal experience. Let's say when I wanted to start sharing content consistently on social media, I wanted to start building a social media following. I decided, and you see, this is all the traditional advice is like, okay, if you need to be consistent. So what can you be realistically consistent with when it comes to posting on social media? If you can't post 3 times a day, every day with your life, like, and the other things you have going on, don't aim for that because you're going to fall short. You're not going to be consistent over time. So what is realistic for you to do consistently? Maybe that's 3 posts a week to start, 3 posts a week. And so in my mind, I was like, okay, well, let's say I want to make 1 TikTok a day. The second I missed a single day, I was like, boom, we're done. All right, I made myself a 30-day challenge to post once a day and I skipped a day, it was like, gotta restart the whole timer. We gotta restart the 30 days, right? There's a time and a place, sometimes where you need to have absolutes and you need to have that like 100% to build a habit, but not most of the time. Because the thing is, we know that that's not realistic. Life, like we're human. There's gonna be days when you get sick. There's gonna be days when there's a family emergency. There's gonna be days when something comes up at work. There's gonna be days when you just need a mental health day. Like that doesn't mean you failed. It makes you human. That makes you normal, okay? So that's how we know that over time, say in the span of a year, it's not realistic to post every single day, 365 days in a row, if that's your new, like the goal that you're aiming for. Right? Maybe you've been doing it for so long that posting 3 times a week for a year is doable. But it's a game of averages because some weeks you posted twice, some weeks you posted 4 times. So it averages out to 3 times a week. See where I'm going with this? So if we're starting a new habit, we're posting 1 TikTok a day. Instead of aiming for every single day, getting 100%, I want you to aim for excellence. Give yourself room to be a human. Give yourself room for error. Does that make sense? Is this landing? Do you see how if you aim for excellence, you can actually be successful in the long term? Do you see how when you aim for excellence, you actually allow yourself to succeed in the long term? Perfect. If you're aiming for perfect, you probably have a fear of success. Oh yeah, I went there. If you're aiming for perfect, you probably have a fear of success. Because you're not giving yourself permission to feel successful because you're aiming for perfect, and we know that in the long term, nobody is perfect. So you're not letting yourself be successful. And what about consistent? 70%. If you're posting 70% of the time. Let's apply this example to workouts. So this is such a simple example. You say you want to be the kind of person that works out 5 days a week. Does that mean you never miss? No. It means you're doing 5 days a week, 90% of the time. Now, if you start this new habit and you're hitting with a 70% consistency rate, easily, you can call yourself the kind of person that works out 5 days a week because it doesn't mean you never miss. It just means you do it most of the time. So what if you redefined what success looks like? What if you changed your standards so that you can start letting yourself feel successful? What if what you're doing is already good enough? What if the problem is not with the actions, it's with your mindset? Because what if you gave yourself permission to let go of the perfectionism? What if you gave yourself permission to be good enough? This we can maintain for a year, for 2, for 5, for a decade, for a lifetime. We cannot maintain perfect for a lifetime. There's no way. So what are those numbers for you? How can you redefine what success looks like so that you can let yourself feel successful? Because let me tell you, success is a feeling. It is not an outcome, it is a feeling. And when you feel successful, that feeling becomes a positive action loop where your actions become in line with your mindset and you bring more success into your life in the material. But it starts from the feeling and the thoughts. Yes? I love you so much. Let me know if this video is helpful. You better leave a comment if you made it all the way to the end because you got it. It's disrespectful otherwise. Okay, I love you. See you tomorrow.